Yeah.
All right, we're live. Hey, yo, what's popping up, Chad? And to my my esteemed panel below, we have none other than the eyebrow-raising, pie eating, step on the gas. He's gonna kick your ass. It's none other than Carson Seaward.
Hey, how's it going? Glad to be back again. How's it going, guys?
And we just were joined by none other than the creator of Niobe Comics, LP. What's happening, LP?
Brothers, man, what's going on? You know what? I'm glad to see that you're doing a little bit better there, Chad. I know you came down. You were sick a couple days ago. Are you okay? Are you doing well?
Nope, not at all.
Nope. But guys, you guys had a wonderful time down in Baltimore. You know, we were doing the show Friday night, and while we had some issues with the audio and the echo and all that sort of thing, man, I was just watching you guys sit around that table. I just wanted to be there so bad.
Wow, yeah, likewise.
That's why C2E2 is just a couple months away. So book in advance and let's party. But we made a new brother. We've got one-fourth of Real Comic Book Talk. Sean, what's up?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all guys doing, man? It's nice to be up and alive on the channel, man. I want to thank everybody that knows it so far, man. I hope to see a lot more of you guys. Thank y'all for inviting me today.
Hey, no problem, my man. We felt bad about Baltimore because we didn't really get a chance to talk to you on air because of us being at a bar.
Hey, you know what happens, brother.
But I figured, we'll give you the opportunity to chime in now and kind of tell us who you are and what you're all about and what kind of message you're sending out there, my man.
Oh, right. We're just a channel full of friends, try to get together, try to talk about comics, anything comics, comic books, TV shows, movies. I forgot the other word I was about to say. But everything that's all about comics, man. Just out there giving our opinions and just try to have a conversation. That's all we're really doing, just having a conversation. It just happens to be on camera for everybody to see.
Who all's on the show? It's you and I'll go ahead. Who's all on the show?
It's me, and then it's my friends Daniel and Al. And then we have the newer person. Her name is TT. She's my fiance's cousin. And we all just kind of had a sit down. It was me and Al and Dan. We were just sitting down one time. Like, man, we having all these debates and discussions and stuff. Like, man, we might as well just put it on YouTube. So see if somebody else has the same ideas. You know what I'm saying? Because we always having these lively arguments. So
this is the place to be. I mean, in LP's words, welcome to the community. It's more of a network, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, yes and no. I mean, my thoughts on this, you can meet great people and certainly form a community. But in my line of work, a lot of it is networking, right? Where I make comics and I'm trying to go to cons and talk to different podcasters and YouTubers and other creators. It's a networking for me. But this here, what we got right here is community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's essentially what the Comic Core has always been. It was designed to be a platform for anybody. There's a bunch of people that are all parts of this channel, but if you watch the videos, they're always different. And that's what the direction we're going. And this is kind of the format that we're going to be going into more on our Friday nights. Smaller panels with some special guests. And this week, on Friday at 10 o'clock, always be plugging. We've got special guests, Action Labs. They're going to be joining us with some of the creator, Chad Ciccone, who's going to talk to us a little bit about his book. He was also one of the guys that were involved in the creation of Action Labs. So it's going to be pretty exciting for us.
And when's that, Chad? Is that this Friday?
That's this Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll be coming at you live, but we'll be down a few guys. Also, Legend will not be on this week. He will be joining. He's resting up because on Saturday night, he's got that marathon auction that you guys have to tune into. Legend does one of the best auctions on YouTube, so definitely watch it. I think it's going to be. I know Bueller's going to be there after he makes about his 100th video of the week. But congratulations to Comics with Bueller, who just recently hit 2,000 subs. So big congrats to him. The guy works harder than anybody in the community, puts out some great content. And then tomorrow night, when one of our other members, JP, Comics with and Cold Ones on All About Comics at, is it 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
Somewhere around
Eastern.
It's 10 o'clock. 90. It's on All About Comics. Sub him up. He does the greatest show. He does the greatest show on Thursday nights. And then yesterday we had the best Carson Woodard 19 with his Tuesday night live show. Was it technical difficult free?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't get any feedback that said that there was lag. I got this big ass Ethernet cord run through most of my house, and it works really well. So there we go.
Attaboy, because I knew the problem was your Wi-Fi. Now you're hardwired in. I bet you that changes it, doesn't it?
It absolutely did. So no, I was just like, what's the cheapest thing I could do to get this to work? And then, this worked really well so far. So there we go.
And then also this weekend, we're going to also have some updates on the Comic Core channel from Comics Misexplained. He'll be live at New York Comic Con, hoping to meet up with some of the New York Warriors and do some live streams. And then we also have Midwest Paulie, Uncle Paulie, as I call him, Midwest Comic Book Man, is going to be doing some shows that will be preempted and will be airing all of next week. And then there's LP. LP has Rebel Comics, Niobe, Rebel Gaming, Niobe. I mean, you've got more channels than you can catch this guy doing interviews, talks, and gaming constantly.
Well, it's a misconception. I have two channels. It's Rebel Gaming. I changed it from Rebel Comics to Rebel Gaming. I'm just concentrating on gaming there. All my comic book talk now is happening on the Niobe comic channel. Right? So that's where I give updates on my books and show what I'm buying and talk pop culture. And then there's my Facebook Live stuff where I interview indie creators twice a week. Tomorrow, I got Tom Hutchinson of Big Dog Inc. on the show. That's a big thing for me.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. But then last, I got to give a shout out to the chat. We got Marcello's Toy Room. We got Brian Spaceboy 227 Splash Page. Thank you for being here. We apologized last week for the feedback. I got Bacon Snake.
No, Bake the Snake. I like that name.
I love it.
Well, I mean, I like Jake the Snake from wrestling, so Bake the Snake, we're down.
And then we also have none other than the Savage himself, the cameraman with the most, the guy that literally went up to Garth Ennis and said, "Hey, this is a pretty good book here, Bob." None other than Kakarot. So, and then there's the man, the myth, the great legend.
I've seen him sneak in, yeah. Now, does that mean he's going to join us tonight, Rob? Are you coming in?
He's got the chat. He has to mail some stuff out, but you never know. It's always around. So,
speaking of mailing, I did a contest last week on the show where I gave away my book. I just want to let Stay Puft know that is in the mail, and I sent him an extra freebie too.
So that's awesome. Sean, I got to dive into it. What did you get at the con? Sean? Can Sean hear me? Or can you guys hear me? All right.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, Sean, what did you do? What did you get at the con? All right. Well, we'll jump back. I'm going to show you guys, since I didn't get a chance to, I will share with you a little bit of a haul that I got from the con. I have Heroes in Crisis #1. We had a sit down with Mr. Tom King himself. Very cool. These guys were really cautious because we do have New York Comic Con, so they weren't really allowed to give any, do any press or interviews, except for the one that we got with Garth. Oh my goodness, Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder, and that was more just a shout out. So thank you for those guys. Now, super cool guy. If you see it, it says, "To the great legend, Dan Slott." What was interesting about this is Dan Slott knew who the great legend was, and he actually made reference to it. And I told him that he's on our show. You would be very, very surprised to know that these guys do watch all of our YouTube. They might not be in the community making comments, but they do. They do watch.
It's crazy. Have you ever been recognized? I've been recognized a couple of times.
So funny that you asked, because I'm going to show you the nice next picture. And this was a very humbling moment, because as I am getting this at no cost, they're signing it. They were super cool. I was asked, "So you really don't think I can finish a story?"
And who said that to you, sir?
Mr. Scott Snyder. And the funny thing is, in the Comic Core shows, that was our second show, and I had said that. So,
and he remembered, did he?
Yeah. So I was quite embarrassed. That and Marguerite, who I'm not going to mention. Just remember to look these people up and see what they look like, and know that they created Emo Lobo. So that's the only story. And then last but not least, Peter Tomasi signed this, gave it to us, gave us a little direction on where the book's going. But unfortunately, like I said, Tom King also gave us some information. And the bad thing about it is I can't talk about it until after New York Comic Con. So, and then last, really cool moment. I can share this at least. Brian Azzarello signed the Joker, gave it to us, and shared his great distaste with the handling of the Batwing.
Now, this sounds like an interesting conversation.
He was very upset on both how DC handled it and promoted it, and how the media and press handled it. And he was taken back. He said it was it wasn't written, but he had the artwork itself was designed for it, and it's more of an art feel, and it was something new, and it's under the Black Label, but it wasn't to stir controversy or anything to that degree. It was supposed to be what it is, a story, and that people lost themselves not in the story, but in the Batwing.
Yeah, and it's funny that that's oh, we got an echo. Where's the echo? Okay, it stopped. Perfect. So the Batwang thing was interesting. We covered this for the last 2 weeks in a row, so we don't need to go too far into it. But I thought, man, we still got an echo. It's coming from your end there, Chad. But I thought the last page was a lot more controversial than the whole Batwang situation, where they had Joker tied up on the cross. I'm surprised that the media didn't run wild over that, honestly.
I 100% agree. When I saw that last panel, I thought that was a little shocking for DC. What were your thoughts on it, Sean? I said, what were your thoughts on the Batwing?
Oh, you talking about me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's Anthony. I'm sorry. That's what those.
I'm so sorry.
That's good.
That's why he wasn't answering you. You kept saying Sean, and you just stuck to saying nothing. I'm like, that's cool.
Hey, that's
insane.
Well, the bad thing is swing is what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little. I didn't think it was the biggest deal as everybody else had made it to be. Like, I agree with you guys that the joke on the cross thing. When I flipped the page, I was like, oh my gosh, this some people are gonna find this real disrespectful. But then people just kind of like overlet that and just hung on to the Batwing thing, and I was like, am I looking at it wrong? Maybe I thought I was thinking wrong. Not now.
Yeah, the Joker being crucified, and obviously nobody really paid attention to that aspect of the book. Um, you know, the black label is what I'm interested in, and I know there was rumors about all the magazine sizes, and Carson, what did you think about the actual size of the book?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what deterred me to begin with from that book. I'm just like, man, it's not even going to fit my boxes. So, and it was a $7 book, like I said originally. That was the same week I bought my Hulk 181, so I really wasn't wanting to spend $7 extra at the store, so I kind of missed out on it. But just seeing a $7 book there, I'm just like, yeah, maybe I'll wait for the trade or the hardcover. Just saying. And then the whole Batwang thing took off, and now they're going to edit those printings, and yeah, it's a weird situation to say the least. But I guess, like we've always said the last couple of weeks, controversy creates cash, and I guess that goes for DC too.
Well, if you look at it, oh, sorry, Chad, you go ahead.
No, so if you, I'm gonna get that brings a great point up. And one last haul. Well, these gentlemen over there, Anthony, I'm sorry, when they were interviewing Ron Mars, I got my friend in over there with the NWO shirt signed and certified by Ron, Green Lantern. So that was my last of my hauls. But the last but not least is today I went into my comic book shop and he was talking to me, and I was getting my pulls, and I looked down, and lo and behold, in my pulls were Batman Damned. Now, I got the Jim Lee version of this when it came out. Little did I know that the Jim Lee version was the only one that Diamond had sent to him. And I said, "Hey, man, do you know what this is going for?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to sell it to you for just the retail price, but I'm selling the rest online for $200."
Is it $200 now?
We didn't see one at the show for less than $75. And by Saturday, the cheapest one we saw was $150.
Wow! And now, is that for the regular cover or for the Jim Lee cover?
Well, the Jim Lee cover you can find for $75 anywhere. It's this one that's fetching the most.
Okay, so that's cover A. That's what I picked up.
Yeah, I'm real surprised that Jim Lee one's not the one that's worth more.
Yeah, Jim. I agree with you. The Jim Lee one to me would be worth a lot more.
Because my shop didn't even get it in. They just got the cover A's.
So he got enough to cover the subs that ordered it. And I was like, "Oh, man, is this the second print?" And he goes, "It's not going to second print. This is the first print." And it does have the Batwing in. But what else was neat this week at the shop was we got DC Black Label, Batman the White Knight. And
great read, by the way.
Yeah. It is. It's fantastic. And there is the uncensored version, which I thought they were going to be putting it into the magazine size. And it turns out it's dependent on the creator. So like the next one that Capullo is putting up where he wakes up, where Batman wakes up and Joker's head is in a jar and he's walking around and he carries Joker's head. That one is regular comic book size. So it's going to be interesting to see which one based off of size alone is selling more. To the chat real quick, we got the Wonk is in there. Drew Manchu. Hey, Drew, if you want to join us, the link's in the chat, but I understand you got some family things going on. Check out on Comic Core, Drew did a quick interview with Garth Ennis, and apparently Drew likes Dog Welder. We've got Pop Calm out there, and Kakarot's still hanging on. So what do you got going on? What did you get, Anthony, this week?
I had to cut off today. I had to go home and be a dad. Comic book store yet? I'm planning to go there tomorrow after work. See what they really got. I know though, even when I go, I still got a lot of these independent books I read. This is a few that really caught my eye that I bought this past weekend. I really can't wait to read. I just need my kids to go to sleep earlier so I can do it. But it's funny going back though, because I just bought a truck, all white Durango, and I literally call it the White Knight. Like my kids call it that and everything.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Larry, did you get anything? Any pulls?
I tried to get to the shop today, but it was like raining pretty hard, and so I didn't end up going. But I can tell you what I'm getting. I'm getting the X-Men Black Magneto book. I'm getting the What If Spider-Man #1 book. God, there was one more that I put away because I don't really have a pull. Oh yeah, Tanara Tarna #3 from Heavy Metal, like from Heavy Metal the movie. So that's finally come out. So I'll be picking up those 3, and I'll probably pick up a couple of other things on the side. I've been buying a lot of like Red Sonja back issues lately, and trying to fulfill my run there. I want to touch on the size of the Batman book. I like the magazine format. I like the cover. I think it's cool. I collect, like old heavy metal magazines and stuff like that. Yeah, you can't fit it in a box, so that's probably the biggest problem with it. But I like a nice big book. I like the layout. But there's also a comment in the chat from Bacon Shake, and he says, I kind of hope that they stick with one size, just something different, just like the label. So in other words, he just wants to think the black label is cool, and it is, but he wants to see all the books either Go Magazine and make them all magazine, or Go Comics and make them all comics. Don't kind of mishmash that up. And I understand it is up to the creators, because basically they're getting the full reign of, hey, bring your vision to life however you see fit. And as a creator, I like that, because that gives them a lot more opportunity to be more artistic and do what they want to do. Same time, I get it from the collector standpoint. We kind of want to be able to keep things together, I just want to touch on that for a second.
No, and I agree 100%. But I wanted to dive into my haul, because I'm starting to get a little. Legend says he's going to be jumping on soon, but I want to show you guys something really quickly, because this next book that I'm going to show, DC went to the Chromium Mines, and this week is nothing but foil covers galore. And this first book, Drew actually did another interview that will be up probably Friday with this gentleman. And this gentleman will be joining us either next week or the following week. But the funny thing about it is he actually asked to join the Corps and maybe essentially be a panel member when we need him. And he is the author of The Curse of the Brimstone. His name is Justin Jordan. I actually, this is probably the only metal book that I've been enjoying. The art actually has gotten significantly better. The story is good. He's a twisted individual. He wrote Luther Strahd. But yeah, so he may be joining us next week. Also in the Chromium covers, we've got Green Lantern, which is really, really cool looking. Green Arrow. I don't even know if you can see the reflections. And then Batman. So this has a lot to do with the fallout of the last issue of 55. But I also picked up the secondary cover because DC is killing it on these B covers. I mean, I really like that.
Nice.
And the Nightwing itself is so cool. Where he got shot is essentially a Nightwing logo. So that's pretty cool. I also got Magic Order, Justice League, Super Sons, X-Men Red, Blue, and Black. So that's pretty much my haul for the week. How about you there, Carson?
I just got a couple things this week. I've only read 2 of them so far since I got home pretty late. The first one's Blackbird #1. Pretty cool Fiona Staples cover, but the Jim Bartell art on the inside is the main reason I bought this book. Decent story, but this is a very beautiful book. Next up, new from Jerry Duggan and his Dead Rabbit. This one was actually so far a really good read. One of my favorites so far this week. So it's like basically about a retired thief / murderer that now he's starting to run out of money because his wife's on disability. So now he basically took up a job at Walmart because he was going to thieve the Walmart and pickpocket a lot of the employees and the people. But he realizes everyone uses credit cards and stuff now. So instead, he just kind of works the Walmart period, and he kind of comes across some baddies in there and decides to take care of it. So pretty cool issue of Dead Rabbit #1. Recommend that one so far. And what I haven't read, I got 3 more issues. So Justice League #9, once again. Scott Snyder, very awesome run. So, Scott, if you're watching, good job. Hopefully you can finish the story. There you go. We got Superior Octopus, #1. I've really been enjoying the Spider-Geddon title so far, so I figured I'd go ahead and add that. And then really been enjoying the Magic Order so far. I think this is issue 4 of 5. So they're getting ready to go into the tail end of the Magic Order run from Mark Millar. So this has been really good so far. I'm looking forward to reading that. And then I guess I can show my JP haul too. I got an auction haul from the All About Comics auction. Won a lot from JP. Got this for a pretty good deal actually. So it's just some Fantastic Four covers. So I got like the Tony Stark Iron Man issue 3 Fantastic Four returning cover, because they like to do these random variant covers now that have nothing to do with the book. Couldn't say no to some J. Scott Campbell. Some nice Sue Storm right there. So Weapon H #6. I don't know why they're on the cover of Weapon H, but there you go. But the main reason I wanted the slot, the shops I was going to around here had this book for like $25 for some reason. But luckily I got it for a lot cheaper than that from JP. Fantastic Four, the Alex Ross cover. So absolutely love Alex Ross's art. And who doesn't love the Fantastic Four? So been eyeballing this cover for a while, so decided to pick it up.
Very nice, Sir Gracie. So I guess I got a couple books I can show that I picked up recently. This is Elixium #1 from Alterna Comics. So you want good story, good price, $1.50, $1.99.
Nice.
Alterna Comics is where that. Peter Smetry, really good dude. This came off a Kickstarter. This is from CB Zane. This is Into the Suck #2. Great story. Hot bounty hunter. Really cool. This is a Dan Mendoza limited edition cover from Penny from Your Soul. I got this from Tom Hutchinson's Kickstarter. So that's something recent. I did pick up this Spider-Geddon #0. I got this Mary Jane variant cover. So I grabbed that.
Is that the Mary Jane from the game? I think it is.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I think so, yeah. I love the game, by the way. I've been playing the crap out of that. And I picked up these. These have been hanging in my box for a little bit. Finishing off the New Mutants Dead Souls miniseries as well, which
What
I
do
really
you think
enjoyed.
of that?
Where I read the first 3, it's okay. I want to see a book more centered on magic though, and
Sure.
and Limbo, and I want Marvel to let me write that book.
So I want to give a shout out. We got Crawford Mason, Thanatos Comics are in the chat. Marcello is still hanging around. And then Legend says, you heard it first right here. American Alpha next week on Comic Core. We get Chad Gable. I don't know how, but he's going to get it.
He's not wrestling on Raw, so he has time to come on our show.
So hey, Anthony, tell me what you guys are into. I mean, are you Marvel, you DC? I know you were spending a lot of time with the independent circuit down there. What are you guys about?
Well, I know for a fact that I know easily for me, I grew up with DC. The first comic books I ever read was when my mom, we first moved out of DC to Maryland, and she used to get these the Superman comics that were based off the animated series. She used to have those shipped to my house or to our house so I could read them, so I could have something to read. So I grew up starting out with DC Comics, and then as I got my own money and was able to go to comic book stores, I started getting in more Marvel and everything else. I know Daniel, he started out, he grew up loving the X-Men comics. Like, that was his thing. And he was, even though he'll never admit it, he is a Marvel enthusiast. I know for Al, he goes back and forth. Anything with magic with Al, he'll read. So whether Justice League Dark or is it Constantine, anything magic, he's like super infatuated with. And TT, she's the wild card. She goes a little all over the place. It's a little bit of everything. It's kind of hard to put a handle on TT.
So you walk into a comic shop. I mean, obviously, comics are a little bit different than a book, but we all choose a book by its cover when we're in a comic book shop. Do you essentially, what gravitates you to the independent circle? Is it the artwork, or is it more of the stories? Or, I mean, like, I know you guys expressed some interest when we were down in Baltimore, but what really drives you?
Well, when I walk into a comic book store, and I see some independent writing, I be like, okay, I know for a fact they're not bound by, like, they got to get this book out by a certain week, and they're not doing like 3-4 different issues, so they don't have all this time restraint, so they could tell a more elongated story, which I really like. Like, I'm a big story guy. So if your story is good, it doesn't matter if it's from Marvel or DC or IDW or even Dark Horse Image. I want a really good story. And I know a lot of independent writers and books, the book they write is real close to them. Like, something drove them to inspire them to write this book. So I know for a fact they're going to put their very best in it. And when they put the very best, a lot of times it come out with a story, especially it's not always a good guy versus an evil guy or vice versa. Sometimes it's two villains going right at it, and there's no real hero to pick from or no real side to pick. It's just whatever you decide to depend on whatever that day is. That's what really drives me. But a plus, though, is if your artwork's fantastic, it takes it up another level. Like this comic book I picked up a few years ago called Star Power. The story's great, the artwork's great. I mean, I can really reread those books like 3 or 4 times.
I love that you say that because I'm an independent writer, and you're absolutely right when it comes down to, like, basically what I got out of that was more creative freedom. When you don't have Big Daddy Disney or Warner Brothers editing the hell out of your work or telling you to change this and change that, when you're independent, Image, like let's use Image Comics as an example. When you do an Image Comics deal, they'll tell you, hey, do whatever you want. That's the whole deal. We'll give you suggestions, but we'll never tell you no, because that's kind of how we started, And so I love that. I got a question for you, my friend. What are some of the indie books that you're really digging right now? Like, if you were to recommend 3 or 4 indie books out there to the chat, what are some of the things that you're checking out?
It's one that every time I see him at a con, I always ask him what he has new, and it's EXO, the story of Wally Williams. The author's name I have a hard time pronouncing. And I don't really want to destroy it because it's an African name and it's just really hard to pronounce for me. But his books are like fantastic. He has like 4 out right now. Those 4 or 5 of them, they're all great. I have all 5. Star Power. Those are some. That's it's like a digital comic because they release a new page every week, but it's fantastic. The first 4 out on graphic novel, and then another good one is the movie Nobi. That's a really good book. Like I was just entrenched as soon as I flipped like the first 3 pages. I was like, all right, kids, it's time to go to bed. Leave me alone. I'm reading.
Well, I got to tell you guys real quick. I mean, the Comic Corps comes together constantly, but check this out. We've got none other than Comics Misexplained. I'm sorry about the tickets.
Oh, dude, it's all good, man. It wasn't your fault. It was the theater, man. They gave away too many. So, so Venom was packed. The theater was packed, and there was a line of maybe like 20, 25 people that got turned away. So, unfortunate, but like, hey, man, that's how it is. That's the ropes, And then thank you, though, for the free ticket, man. Thank you.
We cannot skip this guy. Does he even got a toothpick in his mouth? He might
I think Mike Popcom in the chat has the toothpick. Maybe him or Woodard are throwing it back and forth or just, using it on each other. But, man, it's good to be here tonight, Comic Corps, with Anthony from the Real Comic Book Talk.
Yeah. What's going on, man? Hey. How's
good
it going,
to see you, man.
I see you got home safely. That's good.
Yeah.
We did it.
Driving home safe. You too?
Good to see you, Jason. Me and Jason had some great games last night on Overwatch. It was good playing with you, sir.
Same, man. That was awesome. We crushed it, man. Victory after victory.
Played better than I played on Overwatch, that's for sure.
So let me ask you, Jason, because you just came back from Venom. No spoilers or anything like that. All I want to know, bro, is
no, dude, it was packed. Got turned away, bro.
You didn't get to see it.
No, it was packed, man. They turned away like 25 people. Yeah.
I just want to know if it was good. Damn.
Dude, I don't know. I have my doubts. But
Stawinski's saying in
the
chat.
Stawinski saw it.
He says, I saw Venom. I was going to go live and give my spoiler review, but then I saw you guys. You know what? Hold on. You guys keep talking. I got something.
Well, I've heard bad reviews on it. I haven't watched any reviews, but what I've heard is, people aren't a fan, which is sad because we really want these comic book movies to do well. Now, I won't say it sucks until I go see it myself, and I do plan to see it myself. What about you guys? Anyone here on the panel not wanting to see it, or is everyone pretty much in? You're going to check it out?
Well,
Anthony, how about you first?
Oh, I'm 50-50. Like, I really want to see it, but I just have I have a feeling that it's the last Fantastic Four movie all over again, where I know for a fact that it was going to be bad before I even walked in. But I did hear that after credit scene is pretty good, so at least I got that.
I heard that. Jason, what do you got to say?
Man, like I want to see it, but at the same time, I don't want to pay for it because I don't want to support this Sony Marvel universe. You know what I mean? I don't want them to make more. I don't want to see Black Cat and Sable movie. Man, like I don't want to see any of that. I want them just to give it back to Marvel. So I don't want to support them, but I will see if it comes on Netflix or HBO or a free ticket.
Sure.
But I do hope for the best, though. I hope it is good, but at the same time, I really don't want to root for them to make more stuff. So,
C. Wood, what's your take?
Yeah, I'll go check it out. I got the AMC A-list thing, so I really don't have a good reason not to. And like I said, like everybody else, I've heard the negative stuff about it. But, I like going to the movies and forming my own opinion. So I definitely want to see this, like, post-credit scene everyone's kind of been talking about. Obviously I want to stay spoiler-free on that part. But, yeah I'm going to go check it out.
So
G. Paul H. Peter is in the house. Gene, what's going on?
I only got 1 second, but I got to let you guys know before Brandon gives the review. Today it actually came out that 2 movies are being released today, which is A Star is Born and Venom. And apparently fans of Lady Gaga were actually going around sending out false flags, false information, false reviews to bring down reviews to pump up
the Lady Gaga movie.
Wow.
Lady Gaga movie. Yeah. So that had a big heavy hand in it. So I'm interested in hearing what Brandon has to say about the movie. But anyway, I'm going to go back to watching the show.
Thanks.
So I don't want to give away any spoilers because I don't want to ruin it for anybody like you guys.
Hey.
That, but what are some questions you guys have? Is it the end credit scene? Because Woody Harrelson's wig that he wore was the worst thing I have ever seen.
Woody Harrelson.
Well, let me just start off by asking you, Brandon, did you like the movie?
It was entertaining, but my LCS gave us a ticket, so I'm not mad I didn't waste the money.
If you paid for the movie, would you feel differently?
Yeah, I yes, I would feel differently.
Okay.
That says a lot.
And I go to every single opening. I even went to the Fan 4-Stick opening, and I would say it's better than that. But
wow,
out of the whole year, it's the bottom.
Really? That's sad, man. Guys, you got questions for Mr. Sawinski?
Yes, one question. Sorry, Mom. The wig, is it worse than the Arrow wig?
It looks like somebody ripped it off Ronald McDonald and just stuck it in double-sided tape. It's bad.
How long is it? Was it pretty long, like 2 hours?
No, not even. It was like an hour and a half.
Okay, it's average.
Oh, good.
How are the effects? Did Venom look like Venom?
Into the Spider-Verse, and then it went into the movie, and we were walking out of there. We were in the parking lot 8:45. We went in at 7. So
yeah. So did Venom look like Venom though? Was he doing like cool Venom things?
Yeah. The relationship between Eddie Brock or Tom Hardy with Venom was really good. Like he did a very good job. If it fails, it was not his fault. But it was really like some of the special effects. Even it looked like the symbiote would blend in with the background sometimes, like during like fast action sequences. So you really couldn't tell the difference where the Venom was and where everything else was. But yeah, you do get to see a lot of Venom action.
Hey, Legend, are you a Venom fan?
First Venom I ever read was Venom Lethal Protector. Got it off the rack back in the day. It was a good storyline, but what I think, and I don't know, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if there's anything like Spider-Man related. I kind of like from some of the stuff I read, they were saying it was like a little Venom Lethal Protector, but without Spidey to foil the Venom in the storyline. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, you know, I'm nor yay or nay. I mean, if my dad really wants to go see it, because he likes all the superhero movies that kind of suck. So like, I mean, he loves the X-Men movies. I mean, I love Logan, but he loves all that stuff. So yeah, if he wants to go see it, he can buy my ticket. That's for sure.
Legend, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I bet you can guess what it is. Rob, what's going on in the chat?
Man, the chat, let me tell you, we got some new faces in the chat that I've never seen. Well, I've seen because, my dad took me to this movie when I was a youngster, but we got Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles in the chat. So damn cool. He's got the Leonardo picture. The best Ninja Turtle ever. Hell yeah. Well, some like Raphael and stuff, but we got Leonardo. He's saying hello, people. Travis Roberts, man. Legend, are you a Southern boy? Yeah, from the great state of Texas. There ain't no denying, so you better start crying if you a damn Yankee, because the Texans are here to stay. But no, we got him up in here. We got this guy named Comic Smith Explained. He kind of looks familiar. Oh, yeah, he's on our panel. I love that guy. Marcelo's Toy Room has some great stuff in the chat. He says he was hoping the Venom movie would bomb, so maybe we can get Thomas Hardy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe on the Disney side, which would be really freaking awesome. And we got Bake the Snake. It's okay. Yeah, right? He didn't miss anything. I like that name. So we got some great people in the chat. And then we got this other guy, Brandon Stawinski, which he's on the panel right now. So we got him live with us. So
fresh out of the Venom movie, man.
Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. So was the turd blowing in the wind the worst line in the movie, or can we expect some worse one-liners?
One-liners. I think you really see all the one-liners. He is pretty quick-witted in the movie, but that's probably the lamest one you hear.
Okay, good.
So the one thing that I know, and I read about this earlier this week, is that there's this weird deal between Marvel and Sony to have Spider-Man, and anything that shows up in the Spider-Man movies cannot show up on any of the Sony movies. So that's why they're working with all this. Now, I know for a fact that Marvel's got to be pissed that they don't have Venom, because that's a huge character. I mean, they're even putting it. They put it in the game, but that's a Sony game. My fear is that we're going to lose some of the great rogues to Sony Pictures. I mean, obviously. What's your thoughts on that? And I'll throw it back to our special guest, Anthony. But I mean, would you rather see Kevin Feige taking the helm of some of these characters, or do you want to see what Sony can do with a horror film?
Well, I have very little faith in Sony, so I would love to see these characters back with Kevin Feige and the rest of the Marvel Studios. But I will say this about Kevin Feige: he started out with second-tier heroes, like B-class heroes, and turn it to the great Marvel Studios that we know now. So if anybody could take Spider-Man B-list villain and turn it to something spectacular, it would be Kevin Feige. I would still love to see. I would much rather see Venom and the rest of all of Spider-Man's roles with the MCU. But to be honest with you, Sony has partial right to the Spider-Man character itself. So it's going to be a long, long fight before they can get that back.
So you got Homecoming 2 or A Long Way Home. Spider-Man 2 is being filmed right now. And I put up some of the first images of Mysterio on Instagram and on Facebook. But, they also had a picture of a female character with a silver face. And they also are showing a black suit Spider-Man. Are we getting the Spider-Man Noir? Are we getting the Bulletproof? Or are we getting the Sony end of the game costume? I'm interested to see this, because as many suits as Iron Man has, apparently Marvel Cinematic Universe thinks Spider-Man needs more.
Well, can I chime in on the question? The first question you asked Anthony about the Rogues Gallery?
Yeah.
I think that's inevitable that Disney will have the rights to those back. It's going to be a long battle, but I think, you know, when we start seeing nothing but villain movies come out of Sony for the Spider-Man property, honestly, how many people are going to be really interested in going to see a Doctor Octopus fucking movie? You know, like, I don't think that there's a market for that. As much as I would love to see Black Cat, 'cause I'm a huge Black Cat fan, I want to see her in a Marvel movie done right, you know? And I think eventually, the way that things are going with Marvel's victory with Fox and getting those properties back, Spider-Man is pretty much the last big holdout, and they have the main character. Just a matter of time before the rest of it falls into place.
Well, I mean, you have Spider-Verse coming out for Sony here in a little bit with the Miles Morales cartoon. I watched the second trailer on that, and that thing looks amazing. And the Peter Parker that we see in there, it's actually the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And if you watch the references in the trailer, they've even admitted, hey, they based this off the original trilogy. You see him stopping the train, him eating dinner and stopping somebody from throwing a car through the window, and then you also see him do the infamous kiss. I'm excited about that, and especially I get to see Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir.
Everyone loves some Nicolas Cage, man. Great, funny guy. You never know what you're going to get with him. Man, thank God they're not showing his face and just using his voice, man. Dude, he just looks crazy. Every time, any movie he does, man, it reminds me of just him getting crazy and raising Arizona or something. You know, I feel like he's going to go steal a baby or something, you know?
Carson, what's your thoughts, man?
No, I'm actually really looking forward to Into the Spider-Verse a lot more than, say, like Venom, maybe even Homecoming too. That movie, like, I watched the trailer I think yesterday, and it looks really good. So I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing what characters are going to work into that. But to kind of go back to your other question, I absolutely love all the Spider-Man umbrella characters to be at the Disney side. So, like Marcelo says in the chat, and Feige we trust. They did a phenomenal job with the Vulture and Homecoming 1. So if that treatment of that B-level character is any indication, I would absolutely love to see them go all in over on that side.
So instead of staying on the topic of like the entertainment and all that, I'm going to ask each one of you, and we'll go through it. Who's got the best rogue gallery? Brandon?
Oh, shoot. Why are you always going to pick on me, man?
I'll come back.
Back to me, yeah.
Misexplained.
Yeah, I want to say Batman. I love Batman's rogue. You know, I think he has the best villains. Second, I would say Spider-Man probably, but like Batman just like has my heart with his villains.
So I'm going to ask you, I'll do a follow-up question on that one. If Batman doesn't exist, does his villains exist?
I mean, probably. I think the city is twisted enough where it has to happen eventually, whether there's a Batman or not. I think Batman did cause some villains to happen, but I think the city is just a dark place where they had to happen and appear anyways. And I think he takes it upon himself, and I think people point the finger at him, and I don't think the blame is, you know, it's caused to some degree, but I don't think it's as full as it is, as Batman thinks or takes it upon himself.
Cool. Hey, Anthony, what's your thoughts?
The first and second question.
Well, no, just who's got the best rogue gallery?
Well, I'm a Ninja Turtle bias, so I'm taking that aside. I would probably still have to go with Batman because some of his villains are, I mean, they go out the way and a little disrespectful. So I would have to go, but if he didn't exist, I would still have to go with Spider-Man because his villains are very, just, especially Doc Ock, especially they even treating him. His villains go out the way to win, and they are about winning. Some of them actually end up winning a lot. So I always say, if your villains win, then your villains are better than most people.
So, LP, do we even need to ask who's got the best villain?
You know, it's easy to go with the Batman, you know, with the Joker and Catwoman and Riddler and stuff like that. It's also very easy to say Superman, like any of those titles that have been around forever, right? So, like, you know, with Brainiac and Lex Luthor and Solomon Grundy. But for me, I'm going to say an answer. I'm going to say the X-Men. Because you have, like, Mr. Sinister, you have Magneto, you have Apocalypse, you have the Reavers, you have the Goblin Queen, you know, you have Mystique. Like, right now, X-Men Black is coming out. It's 5 issues with, like, J. Scott Campbell covers featuring Magneto, Juggernaut, Mystique, Emma Frost, Mojo. The X-Men have like a ton of villains, and wait till you start seeing them appear on the silver screen in the MCU.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ledge.
I like the Fantastic Four villains. I love those characters. You got Doctor Doom, Namor, good old Nihilus. You got the Galactus. You got Puppet Master. You got Red Ghost, freaking Blastar. You got God, Mad Thinker's a real good one, underrated. The Frightful Four, of course. I love Paste Pot Pete and the Wizard, and just so many freaking greats. Ronan the Accuser, Psycho Man, Maximus the Mad. He was a crazy Inhuman in there. It's all kinds of good. Oh, Dragon Man and Diablo, and one of my favorites though is Impossible Man. He's cool. And then you got the Skrulls and Super Skrull. I mean, there's a lot of in Mole Man. He's kind of lame, but he's got his underground henchmen and monsters. But that's just my personal favorite. But you always look at but fan favorites. You got to look at them Spider-Man rogues and those Batman rogues, and Flash rogues are actually pretty good too.
He would.
I was thinking X-Men, but I figured LP was going to say that. And I will say Magneto is one of the most justified villains in all of comics. But I got to shout out Thanatos Comics in the chat. I got to go Green Lantern. I mean, after that whole core reboot, they established one of the best rogues galleries ever. You got now Sinestro #1, like one of the best, most justified villains there's ever been. You also have the whole Red Lantern Corps. So you got Atrocitus, the most angry of all of the Lanterns. You got Larfleeze, the most greedy SOB in all of space. Like I said, Matt's calling up faster than I can do it. He's got Black Hand, the Blackest Night. Yeah, Atrocitus. Dexter, the Super Cat. I mean, the Manhunter. So, I mean, that could go on and on with, they got such a deep roster of rogues that are they're both fun, they're both menacing, and if you read their origin stories, you actually feel for them a little bit. So, got to go Green Lantern.
Well, I'm going to go Wally West, Jeff Johns run on the rogues. Those guys were they were out for blood. They took it up another level, but the really cool thing about the rogues, they had a code. They had an honor system, and I enjoyed that about them. Didn't like it when they got superpowers. I mean, when they actually got their powers in the New 52, but those were my guys. Well, I mean, we've been on for about an hour. I think it's kind of a good time call it a quit night.
What? You're crazy.
Some of us cannot even
here. Before we go, I want to ask the guys that were at Baltimore Comic Con, what was it like? Now that I can talk to you, now that you're not around a table full of drinks and loud noise. I mean, Anthony, man, I saw you talk to Comic Uno, like father, like daughter, on one of your videos today. She's a great girl who does Comic Frontline over on YouTube. You had a chance to talk to her. She's an indie just like me. Did you talk to a lot of people like that? Tell me a little bit about that day, man.
Yeah, that was a good day. I talked to her earlier that day. We interviewed her on Sunday, but I talked to her all weekend. I was just trying to find a way not to pay my rent so I can buy all her books. Like that. But yeah, she's a great girl. Like, she's so nice, so happy. Talk to you about everything you want, and it was really great. Then the rest of the con, man, Baltimore Con is always my favorite con, especially since I'm around the DC, Maryland area. Out of the ones that around here is that and Blurred Con. But the Baltimore Con has always been good to me. It's the first con I took my kids to, and they had a blast ever since then. Kind of bailed out on me this year, but it's fine.
Let me ask you this: what was the highlight of your trip? Right, a big name you might have met, or a really cool event that happened to you. Like, what was the when you go back and you had to pick one highlight that was like the best moment of the con for you? What would that be?
It's gonna sound a little fan easily, but the biggest thing was meeting you guys at Comic Corp, man. That was like a big deal for me. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I was going up just talking to people about my YouTube channel, and a few days later, here I am. Biggest thing for me.
Jason, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, man, dude. Like, the highlight for me was talking to Tomasi. I got the last issue. He did signs. Had a good conversation with him. I was like, I really appreciate this issue. I never really had a dad growing up, but like I really liked the connection between Superman and his son, giving him life advice, talking about change, and I thought it was awesome. So he signed to Jason, next stop Metropolis. So
that's epic,
he was super cool. Yeah, man.
Chad.
So ultimately, hanging out with the DC guys were awesome. Capullo, he's hilarious. Azzarello, super nice. Peter Tomasi, one of the nicest people I've met. Scott Snyder, the kindest, sweetest individual I've ever met. Jason and I were standing up, and we were just standing in the con early on Saturday morning, and he literally walked up to us and was like, "What's going on, guys?" We're like, "Oh my God, you're Scott Snyder." So those guys are awesome, and everybody we met was fantastic. But I guess the best part of it was the hanging out with these guys. I mean, meeting Spider Grandpa from the first time, and I think Paul and them were saying on Blasted or Stash It on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So watch it. We knew them. It felt like long lost friends. Like we knew our conversations. We were busting each other's chops. I mean, there was a lot. You had to have very thick skin to be down there because I'll give you a great story. Spider Grandpa takes pictures with all the cosplay women. And there was just go on his Facebook and look. There's this one picture. I said, "Hey, he'll take a picture with you," and he looked at me and he goes, "You son of a bitch." And we talked about it, and it was a very humbling experience when we found out the creators. And I told Legend this. We talked earlier in the week. What's humbling about it is finding out that they watch our shows. You think we're just like some YouTubers, and we're like, we're talking about comics, and to actually hear some of them say, "Hey, man, I would love to join, watch you guys last night, or watched you last week, or saw you give somebody a Stone Cold Stunner in the background." It was kind of cool. And just like Dan Slott going, "Oh, this is for the great Legend. I've watched him," and signing.
That's gonna make you feel good, Legend?
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that's really awesome, man.
Thanatos in the chat has a question, guys, and I know you want to wrap it up, Chad, but let's ask this. He says, if you could recommend a comic series for a nerdy 11-year-old girl, what would it be? Guys, let's go down the line. Anthony, what would you recommend to a nerdy 11-year-old girl, her first time getting into this hobby?
I would go with maybe Ironheart story from Marvel Comics.
Nice call. Very nice call.
Yeah.
Legend, how about you?
There's a comic book called DC Supergirls, or Superhero Girls, and if y'all watch the Teen Titans movie, cartoon movie or whatnot, they had a little like DC Superhero Girls short before that. That would be a good comic, but if she thinks that's too kiddie-ish, Anthony said Ironheart, Batgirl would probably be really cool. Yeah, man, just so many different ones. Miss Marvel would be excellent because that's a teenage gal, What
do you think, Seawood?
Yeah, I was typing my suggestions in the chat. I think my top two, absolutely the Brian K. Vaughan run of Runaways. I think she would absolutely just love Molly Hayes in that book and, kind of identify with her character. And then, the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel starting from that first run with that character. It'd be, if I had a kid, that's what I would buy them.
Comics Misexplained.
Yeah, man, I'd probably say like Marvel Rising. You got America in there, Squirrel Girl.
Forgot about Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, a bunch of others. Yeah, Squirrel Girl solo. Dino Girl, or what is it? Dino and that one dinosaur thing. That'd be a good one. Miss Marvel, a great pick. Batgirl's pretty good. Sometimes it gets a little more adult, but most of the time it's pretty good.
How about you, Brandon?
Honestly, I have no idea what to let a child read. I have no kids. I know right now there's really nothing bad going on in Spider-Man, so maybe Spider-Man.
Okay.
So wait, Brandon never gave us his Rogue Gallery.
It was taken, and I mean everybody else had a good one. I go with Spider-Man 2099 and Sinister Six 2099.
Nice.
Cool.
I would recommend to 11-year-old girl maybe the Star Wars adventure stuff featuring Rey and the girls from Star Wars. But if that's too kiddie for her, maybe just let her wander and pick something out and make sure you're okay with it. I find a lot of these girls are going to gravitate to the Harley Quinns and stuff like that. And you'll have to be the judge if that's okay for your 11-year-old or not. I really haven't read Harley in a little while, so I don't know, but I know that's a popular choice amongst them. Maybe directed towards Supergirl. Supergirl seems to be pretty much still a straight out comic book. You know what I mean? With nothing too heavy in it. Chad, what about you?
I think Carson would agree with this one, but I would absolutely agree with Miss Marvel. But if you could get the original run of Young Justice.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
There's some really cool, strong characters in there. You had Wonder Girl, Arrowette, the Ghost. It was a very good book, and obviously it brought us the Young Justice TV show, which is coming back here shortly, and you can own it for $9.99 on the DC network. Yep. I'm trying to get us some plugs, guys.
You know, another couple series is the Champions. Like if she wanted like a team of like teenage superheroes, Champions. And then if you just want to go with the Nova, the new Nova, the Nova from Champions, not Richard Rider, but the new Nova, and then Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. That's a teen book all the way. I mean, he's getting into fighting crime and going to school at the same time. So.
Yeah, nice picks. Sideways, maybe DC Sideways. It's another one.
And I was gonna say, even Ultimate Spider-Man, whether it be the original run or the beginning of the Miles Morales character, those would both be pretty good picks.
Oh yeah, they also had that when Gwen Stacy and also Kitty Pryde joined that group. So that was those have a strong female cast as well.
Yeah,
so
Spider-Man would be another good one.
So
Chad,
guys,
take us out, man.
So guys, thank you for watching us tonight. Thanks to the chat. This was something new. We just wanted to try it. We wanted to get Anthony on the show. Hopefully we can continue hanging out with these guys. And if you get a chance, sub them up. They are super nice guys. If you're in the DC area, hit them up on Instagram. Follow them on Instagram. I'll put your links in the description below so people can catch it on the rewind. But with that being said, we've got the Legend auction on Saturday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right?
9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Okay. We've got LP doing a special interview tomorrow night at?
That's going to be at, I think, 3:30 Eastern. That's going to be like 4:30 my time on Facebook. That's going to feature Tom Hutchinson of Big Dog Inc. Also, just take the time to plug that the Avani Kickstarter is right around the corner, so keep your eyes. Speaking of Rogues Gallery, this is Niobe's #1 villain right now. She's getting her own book, so keep your eye out for that. That's going to be right around the corner.
Awesome. We got C Wood every Tuesday night at 7:30. Jason, do you have a time, bro?
Me? No, I don't have a solo thing. I post whenever, but I'll be at New York City Comic Con this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
And broadcasting for none other than the Comic Corps, making some connections.
That's right.
Making connections and making a dash. Robin Oldfoot. I'm sorry, I'm trying to say. And then Brandon Slawinski was going to go live. We stole his thunder, and we wanted to join him. But check him out, sub him up, and please watch us on Friday nights, the Comic Corps. We have special guest Action Labs this week. We're on at 10 o'clock.
I can't wait for Action Labs. I'm a huge fan of Zombie Tramp, Vamp Blade, Dollface. Some of the people I worked with on my title has worked for them. I can't wait for the stock. It's going to be phenomenal.
So with that being said, guys, subs for everybody. And good night. God bless. Have a good one.
All right.
Peace.